This video is sponsored by Surfshark. This luxury high-end smartphone is clearly inspired by other brands, with absolutely bizarre cues from competitors mixed with some of the best hardware on the Android side. It's crazy. An over 7,000 mAh battery with a 100-watt charger in the box, a 200 megapixel telephoto camera with a bigger sensor than some 1x cameras, but also this bizarre button on the side. What's going on here? Well, today I want to talk about that. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas and I want to be completely transparent with you. This is a preview of Honor's new Magic 8 Pro. It is not a review, I want to make that totally clear, and it's also not a sponsored video. It's more of a hands-on piece, so I can't share every piece of information here because there is an embargo, and the software is not final. This is also the Chinese model of the phone. But what I can talk about is the unboxing experience, the crazy cameras, and really do stick around for that one, it is ridiculous, the design, and what Honor is calling an AI button, but it really just stinks of a very popular smartphone's worst feature. So there's actually a lot to dig into here, but before that, a quick message from today's sponsor. What's almost become a staple of a mobile phone toolkit these days has to be a VPN. And not only does Surfshark work on our beloved Android, but also macOS, iOS, Windows, and more, Surfshark lets you activate on unlimited devices and access servers across 100 locations worldwide. It not only allows you to secure your connection via tunneling your traffic, but it also lets you use websites that are typically geo-locked or even access content that's only available on other versions of services like Netflix. Or if you're a Premier League fan like me, being able to go on holiday and log into the normal services you typically watch the game on is so easy with Surfshark. There are different plans to suit your use case, so check out the link in the video description to see what works best for you and to get Surfshark for yourself. And a big thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring today's content. So before we go any further, it is refreshing to check out a phone where the charger actually just comes in the box. And it's not a slow one, it's not a terrible charger. This is a 100-watt brick and a cable, as you might expect from other smartphones. But then you also get this included case. Now, whilst I generally recommend you just go and buy a high quality case for your phone, it is at least nice to have something to tide you over whilst the case is in the mail or whilst you're deciding on which one to buy. So I'm glad it's included here. And this is a smartphone where I guess if you spent a lot of money on it, you really would feel like you're getting your money's worth because the unboxing experience is already better than 90% of other Androids right now. But the minute you actually pick the Magic 8 Pro up, things start to feel suspiciously familiar to other high-end devices. The rails are reminiscent of another brand, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. This phone feels fantastic in the hand. I'm personally a big fan of the slightly curved sides and the slightly curved front and back. It just helps the phone feel a bit more natural in your hand, not like the fully flat faces that many phones these days come with, and actually seems to be the standard or the trends that many people are moving towards. So I'm glad that there's still something out there that feels just a little bit more ergonomic. And I must say, these buttons on the side are incredibly satisfying to press. I also don't mind the big round camera bump. Now I know this is quite a contentious or divisive hardware feature for many. I actually know people personally who love smartphones like this but would never touch one because it just has a big camera on the back, even if the quality of that camera is actually quite good. And we will get into that in a minute, so make sure you stay tuned. But phones looking like this, I quite like it because devices these days all kind of look quite samey. I like the approach of standing out a bit more, and like previous Magic Pro models, this definitely fits into Honor's lineup. I'm not saying this is a good or a bad thing, you make your own decision up. This is not me trying to glaze the thing, I just like camera bumps like this. One exterior feature, something Honor is calling the AI button, really does stand out because it's a bit of a weird inclusion. It's not necessarily a well-loved feature on other more popular devices. It's often switched off by some people, frustrated users, for getting in the way, and it's kind of poorly placed. It does work very similarly to that said other competitor button, and it's not just one competitor, there are other smartphones on the market that have these kinds of things. It's still as awkward as you'd expect, and well, you can use it in the camera app to really awkwardly zoom if you want to. I recommend just using the traditional approach. But the camera itself, not the button, is something you might want to use and might well enjoy. unlike other competitor models in the West, sticking with the same hardware year after year after year and pumping out basically the same thing, Honor has opted to include not only a 200 megapixel telephoto sensor, but one that is basically the size of a 1x sensor on many other phones at 1/1.4 inches. This enables some really good low light performance and tremendous natural depth of field without the need to actually switch to a dedicated portrait mode. It's all done in hardware. And it's not just soft backgrounds that you can get with this kind of thing, which is certainly nice, but if you layer your scenes correctly, you can actually get some beautiful foreground haze or color cast, which is something that I've been a fan of on these big telephotos on smartphones for a while now, and Honor is making sure you know it's here. And if you enable Honor's AI zoom tech, you can snap pics of stuff really far away, just like other competitors are doing right now, and you can have the phone spit out an AI generated version of what it thinks the scene was like. Now, this is a pretty hit or miss experience in my personal opinion, so I tend to leave these kinds of features off on smartphones, but it is good that the company is up there competing with familiar techniques, let's say. But with any other of the three lenses on here, the cameras are certainly very decent. The main 1x is actually quite a large sensor itself at 1/1.28 inches. Honor's color profile out of the box for me is just a little bit too punchy, maybe just too much for most people actually, but you can easily go in and select one of the other two profiles, including a natural and an authentic, which I think actually make the cameras quite cool. And generally, you're going to get roughly what you want out of this camera as long as you pick the mode that you want. And this camera stack can do up to Ultra HD 4K 120 with the 1x and the 3.7x telephoto cameras, which is great to see. It can also do 4K 60 with the selfie and the ultra wide cameras, and there's a log recording mode here too. Although I haven't seen any evidence of an easily accessible Rec 709 conversion, so yeah, take that with a pinch of salt. And though I haven't had too long with this phone, it's really hard to tell how great these cameras fully stack up to the competition. My initial instinct says that the video looks a little bit too smartphony, given we're living in a time where competitors are able to shoot video that genuinely makes it look like you're not shooting on a smartphone. It's crazy. And the photos, whilst very punchy, I don't know, I'm gonna need to spend more time with them to fully evaluate this camera. But that AI button isn't just for taking photos, by the way, and actually its functionality selection screen very much reminiscent of a competitor's menu in similar circumstances. I mean, yeah, I don't know who is asking for this kind of feature on their phone, and if you are, well then fantastic, because the Magic 8 Pro has it, but I think I'll be turning that off for any kind of long-term usage. An AI button? Really? If you'd like to see more coverage of this bizarre phone, then please do let me know in the comments and I will make sure that I do a full review on the full release of this phone. Otherwise, the Honor Magic 8 Pro is a bizarre mix of clearly inspired design and a set of hardware that would truly make life difficult for other phone makers if Honor was a bit more popular here in the West. From its luxury exterior to its properly packed camera stack to its comprehensive unboxing experience to its lukewarm AI button, this is one of the strangest smartphones I've used in a long time, and it has me extremely intrigued. Am I just being particular, or are you a bit weirded out by the Honor Magic 8 Pro? I mean, on one side of the story, there really is just a lot of stuff here that reminds me of other smartphones, not all good, but then the cameras are a massive step ahead of some other competitors, and I can't work out where I stand with it, to be totally honest. So please, I do need your opinion in the comment section about this phone. I need a reality check because this is just bizarre to me. Anyway, whilst you're down there conversing, be sure to hit like if you enjoyed today's content and subscribe to never miss another upload on this YouTube channel. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Ryan Thomas and I'll catch you later. Cheers.